All right, good morning, good morning. Hello, Angela. It was good to see you last night as well for the Twisters premiere. More on that in a second. Hello, Sarah. We're into Shelbyville this morning. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm wave meteorologist Brian Goode. Welcome to the blog today. It's not a storm talk blog, at least not today. That'll come back soon. But I figured mentally we needed a break, right? Kind of reset just a bit because it feels awesome outside. I'm going to cover that. And as I alluded to in the headline, you may have saw, there is at least a chance of some adjustments here for the weekend. I'll kind of explain a little more what I mean by that. And of course, we'll talk about the little bit of a longer term setup for last night. It was good to see those of you that were able to make it out and win the contest for the Twisters movie, or you just were there to see a screening of it in general, or any movie, to be frank. It was nice to see you guys. We don't get a chance to get out as much as we used to. There's a lot of newscast these days, right? So it's nice to get out and see everyone, including Angela, who I've known forever. Was it 24 years they were calculating, and she's only 18. No, wait a minute. No, you're only 30. So it looks like we're in for at least a good setup to enjoy the movie for this weekend without any weather drama. So if you haven't a chance to see it yet, you still got an opportunity. I did see bits and pieces of it. I didn't see the whole thing, to be honest with you, because I want to immerse it all into my experience without having to worry about other things with work and everything. So I'm going to get fully caught up, and then I'll give my review on it. If you have your review, by all means, you can share it, but I do ask no spoilers, please. Although I hear there is allegedly a tornado that's involved. But anyway, it sounded like it was going to be a really good setup. And again, I saw the very, very beginning of it, and I was like, okay, I got to wait. But it was good to see everyone. Hope you had a good time. Looks like we're in for just a great setup here the next couple of days. We've been lucky. This is about 3 or 4 times now we've had these resets with our airflow into the Ohio Valley, where we get a chance to get more of a northerly flow. That is very rare to see that happen. 2004 comes into mind. There's probably been recent years than that, but 2004, I do remember, was similar to this in getting these breaks. We had that summer, too, we had several derechos, those big wind events moved through the Midwest, one including into Kentucky that got hit, which was, again, very similar to what Chicago had. But so it's a very similar pattern. What does that mean for the long term? Probably nothing, but just something that I wanted to share for those that love tracking all the different climate years and looking at analogs. All right. So more on that in a few moments. I want to mention that the drought status came out today. Now, we talked about this last Thursday when the map came out, I think it was showing Indiana was at moderate drought. Kentucky was just now getting into abnormally dry, or the yellow category. But we were saying, well, the rain wasn't factored in for Indiana, and we have more rain coming this week, so that probably would be factored in. That's exactly the case here. So the drought status today actually shows Kentucky entering a moderate drought, mainly the eastern side of Bullitt County down through about Taylor County, and Indiana reduced a bit. However, when you look at the rainfall that we've had in the past week, there is a bit of a overlap. You see the area there again in Kentucky, central Kentucky, Bullitt County, Nelson, Greene, and Taylor. Now look where the heaviest of rainfall has been in the past week, and you can tell that that area certainly has gotten a decent amount more than you need to get out of the drought status. Indiana, you actually had the opposite, didn't really get as much out of this ordeal. So your status could change next week. You may show a worsening conditioning there into Indiana. That's possible. But I think overall, the point in this whole thing of the drought map and this map to show you guys, I just don't see a problem right now with the drought for the next few weeks anyway. It can turn around fast. We've seen that happen, especially in September and October, our driest periods of the year. Things can turn around quickly on the narrative, but I think right now there's nothing to really worry about. So if you see these drought maps, whatever, don't panic. All right, I think we're in decent shape. Indiana, I think if there's any area that needs more rain, it's going to be southeast Indiana, Jackson County to Jennings, Jefferson County, and Scott County. You guys could use a little more help. So, and we do have several rain chances to talk about in the extended, so there's plenty of time to make up some ground there. All right, the front came through this morning. Feels awesome outside. If you haven't been out, just open the door. Hopefully you don't sneeze like crazy like I did, but still, it is beautiful out there. Lower humidity is at play, and a decent amount of sunshine for today. I think today is going to look and feel better than even what tomorrow will be. Tomorrow, I think, will be very warm. A few more clouds may try to stream in from the south in the afternoon, but it'll still stay dry. It's going to stay dry today. It's going to stay dry daytime tomorrow. But then tomorrow night, maybe a few changes. Okay, here's the moisture, tropical air mass in general across the southeast corner of the country. You can see how that is being squashed down to the south, giving us some drier air and some comfortable air to enjoy. I think some of you will drop in the 50s for tonight and early tomorrow. But notice the little concentration of moisture that dives down into southeast Texas and Louisiana. This is where a low pressure should get induced later on tonight into the day on Friday. It will then, the front that's coming through, it already came through this morning, still drape basically southeast of us. This low pressure is going to track right along that boundary to the northeast. It's only going to graze Kentucky as it makes that journey, and that would be tomorrow night into Saturday afternoon. But as it does so, there is the possibility that it could bring back some thunderstorms into at least areas near and south of the parkways. I think is fair game. So if you're watching from that area, Marion County, Taylor, Greene, you may notice that your rain chance is going to go up at times for part of the weekend, while Louisville and Indiana will likely stay fairly suppressed for a while. It's going to be a fairly sharp cutoff on where you get your tropical moisture and where you still have a lower humidity. So north, good. Heading south will be a little bad, a little more on the humid side. And again, a chance for a few showers and some thunderstorms. So let me walk you through this on our in-house model, kind of hour by hour on this. You can see as we head into later on this afternoon, lower 80s, low humidity, gorgeous. Get outside, take the dog walking, go to the park. The park's going to be packed. Go to the walking bridge. Just take advantage of this without having to worry about sweating. Or if you got yard work to do. I mean, some of you got some decent rain this week, right? So you probably do have to do some mowing. Today is a good day for that. Again, comfortable tonight. Tomorrow, there will be some increase in clouds. I don't have it painted here, but there will be some increase in clouds. And it'll be a bit warmer tomorrow. I think we'll get into the mid 80s compared to the lower 80s today. Nothing dramatic, just a few degrees, added on. But then you look at Friday night into Saturday. Now you're starting to see the influence of that low that tries to ride up that front into the Appalachians. Now, the question is, models are varying on where the front will be, and that's the train track. So we got to figure out where the train track is to know where the locomotive will go. And at the moment, that's still varying. I would say maybe 60, 70 miles north and south. It's kind of wavering a bit, but that 60 to 70 miles is making a difference on impacts in our area into wave country, whether it's East Kentucky or not. So let me show you this model's idea. Here we are, 5:30 in the afternoon, mainly dry, but then that moisture begins to push up Now, it tries to bring rain all the way into Louisville Saturday morning. We're not ready to bite on that yet. All right. We'll see if that trends that way. That's how you got to treat models like this. Trend it, not just look at one run and say, okay, that's it. That's going to happen. But we'll see what future runs today show. And if that continues to be the case, then, yeah, we may have to raise the rain chance up a little more toward the Ohio River. Otherwise, again, it's a central Kentucky issue. You see the red, that's the fuel. So a little more humidity. Saturday will be a fairly humid day across Kentucky, Indiana. I think you'll still have some bonus weather to enjoy. And it starts to bring some heavier downpours, too, as it kind of spins about there in southeast areas of Kentucky. So we'll monitor that for adjustments on any the rain chances for the weekend. I just don't want the impression to be that it's going to be perfectly sunny, low humidity all the way into Sunday night. And I know it feels that way because we're so excited about today and tomorrow, but I want to just put an asterisk there to be aware of that sneaky low trying to move in. That some of you may have some impacts this weekend. So just there's my cautionary soapbox, TED Talk, whatever, for today. All right, we get into next week. Boy, next week is a mess. Here's why. And overall, this is not surprising. This is a large Bermuda high. We get this in the summertime. It's classic to have them in the Atlantic. The flow around it's clockwise. So it goes around the Gulf and feeds tropical moisture, typically in the southeast corner of the country, feeds our heat waves. The Bermuda High is named for that because, again, its center is usually close to the island of Bermuda. It's also a big driver in steering tropical systems around it and causes that curving through the Gulf and then eventually into Florida or the Gulf Coast. The Bermuda High is a big player in that. It's in place for what would be a bad scenario for anything on the tropics. The saving grace right now for the Atlantic is there's a lot of tropical or a lot of dust coming in from the Saharan desert. So because of that, everything's suppressed. That happens usually about a good 3 to 4 week period. Every summer, we get the dust period that moves in and suppresses tropical activity. That typically is in July. So everything's on track for that. But once that dissipates, and if we still have this kind of a pattern where Bermuda High is placed where it is, then the tropics fire back up. Then we got problems. But that would be later into August. I still think after August 10th, I do think that's when we'll start to see a little more activity for that. Anyway, got off to a sidetrack. The pattern is already aligning for that next week. What does that mean for us? Well, not a tropical system, but it does mean quite a bit of tropical moisture that will be fed into our area. I mean, our flow of air coming in next week is basically from the Caribbean, Cuba, and Yucatan Peninsula right into wave country. So again, very humid setup. You're not going to see a lot of movement in your overnight lows and daytime highs. Very little change because it's going to be so saturated. A lot of cloud cover and a daily chance for tropical downpours. You don't have a lot of severe weather in this scenario. So that's the plus. It cuts down on it. You can get a few gusty thunderstorms that may try to form in this environment. But typically in this scenario, it's mainly just heavy downpours, just very much a Florida type of environment. The only thing that may adjust this that I'm noticing is there's going to be a few low pressures that could try to influence how this is shaped. For an example, there will be at times a low that will try to move in across the northern Rockies. That may kick up another severe weather event into the Midwest or the plains later next week. But there also will be lows dropping in from Canada that may try to change the shape of this. So again, let me kind of draw this in a little easier way. I mean, why not the view? There we go. There's your center of the high here in the Atlantic. The flow goes around it into the Caribbean, right in the United States, into wave country. But if these lows keep trying to dive in from the north, it will change the flow. The angle of the tropical moisture may get suppressed a little more at a sharper turn into Georgia and the Carolinas and may actually avoid Kentucky for a day or two. That is possible. If we don't get that low that dives in from the north to try to change that flow, it's basically like a sprinkler for the hose in the front yard, how it kind of goes back and forth. If that bends the flow, then we'll have a chance to maybe get a little bit of a break. If this low is not there, though, this tropical moisture is just, it's game on. It'll be overtaking us. And I'm not just talking about next week. I'm talking about maybe a 2-week period that we'll have to deal with that. So, again, drought, not so worried about that with this kind of environment. All right, let me get to the 10-day and get to some of your questions you may have. Let's see here. We got. You're welcome, Linda. Let's see. Dwayne, I can get in my pool when it's raining. There you go. It makes sense. Makes sense. Brandon, feels nice outside if you can avoid the gnats and the mosquitoes. Yeah. I mean, the mosquitoes are bad just because we've had some heavy rain as of late. Mosquitoes attack me. So I feel like everyone says that. What is it the saying is? That's because we're so sweet. That's why they attack us. Anyway, yeah, mosquitoes are a pain this year. They're really bad. Let's see. Sean, loving the weather. I wish it could be like this all year. This is what we call the Chamber of Commerce type of weather, right? It is really, really nice. So, but next week, again, a little more tropical. All right. I think you guys are in good shape. There's no weather drama today. So there's no alert days. Everything's fine. We have a chance to relax and enjoy some time outside. If you're still on vacation time, you got some great looking camping weather too at area lakes as well. All right, I'll stop rambling. It's beautiful out. Enjoy it. I'll see you guys coming up on midday, and we'll keep you updated on that weekend scenario. Have a good one, guys.